very struck reading a book about Wagner, about this sign that he wrote and stuck backstage at the very first Bayreuth festival. And people have a certain opinion of Wagner and how the pieces are performed, particularly due to kind of performing styles in the second half of the 20th century. But at that time, Bayreuth, the sign said, the long notes will take care of themselves, don't worry about the long notes, but it's the short notes and it's the text which are the chief concerns. And that's from Wagner. And so I thought that was a very good starting point, to actually look at it in some detail and to look at the text and the delivery of the text. And also, you know, there's enough bel canto in the piece to mean that it's very much connected to the bel canto singing style. This idea that it all has to be kind of screamed. It used to be called the Bayreuth bark, that you would kind of stand on a stage and be very declamatory. And that's not how Wagner's singers would have performed it. They would have been singing Mozart at the same time. And certainly, even if you look at the first performances of Wagner in London, it was the same singers who would, I mean, like Melba, who were performing Mozart and Gounod. So that's the approach I've taken, and we're actually really lucky in this production to have, I mean, the perfect group of singers for that approach. I mean, bel canto Wagner. Hier rief ich, ist much too loud. Hier rief ich, zeige deine Tat, schloss sich nicht. The work with composers is, I suppose, what I'm best known for in the UK at the moment, although that's starting to change. I love it, and I always will love it. And there's something about creating new things, which I love, and working with real composers, live composers, that you can phone up and say, what does this bit mean, and what do we do with that bit?
Let me hear the bass instruments. The bass instruments where you start. It just seems a bit polite. Pom pom. That's it. That's great. That's great. Now with the timpani as well.
I take something from that in all the work that I do. And I think it's one of the hardest things. How do you make these pieces that are known or very well known? How do you make them sound new? You know, how do you sweep away some of the dust of performing tradition and habits, good habits and bad habits? And that can be hard, particularly when you go into big houses where they have a certain way of doing things, and one has to work with the musicians that are there. But I always try and go to the score and try and work out what the composer intended by what's written.
I think that the forte is creeping louder. Just so you know, at 22, the woodwinds play this piam, 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 fortissimo. And then after that, the level of the forte needs to stay the same. Otherwise, this thing after 22, 3, 4, 5, 6, this thing, ya-da-dum, starts too loud. It needs to be dee-da-dum-bum-bum. 22, please. 2 bars before, 2 before 22. Ba-bum, ba-ba-bum.
I've been to most, if not all, of the Wagner productions in London, and kind of never imagined, even in my 30s, that I'd ever end up conducting them, and now the time has come. I think there is a time in a conducting career when you have to tackle it. You have to either decide that you're going to avoid it completely or tackle it, and this came up, and so I'm tackling it, and it's great.
So we're about to rehearse Act 3 of The Flying Dutchman for the first time, which is this huge choral scene with sailors singing and ghosts singing, and it's the first time we put it together with the orchestra and the stage, so it's really exciting. It's a very busy scene, so it's going to take a while to get right, but I'm hopeful. Just come in tempo, because you're so far away. Da-da-da-da-da, Steuermann, and you've got to get the Steuermann early, and this las, the L much earlier, otherwise it doesn't carry, you're so far away. So as soon as you've got Steuermann, as soon as you've done the N of Mann, go straight onto the L. Steuermann, las, really early. Steuermann, her zu uns. Okay? We try one more time, thank you. We'll just go from figure 2, which is where we have been going in rehearsal. 3 is... Fliegende.